Hello, fellowship. It is week 2, and our question this week is, how do you learn best? I could not think of a more perfect day for me to reflect on this question because I did a whole lot of learning today. I was fortunate enough to be given the day off so that I could visit the Inquiry School in Coquitlam and then the Inquiry 8 class at Fraser Heights in my school district. And then I rushed home so that I could learn with my fellow Genius Hour teachers and Vicki Davis, the Cool Cat teacher, while she interviewed us for her radio show. And that is how I learn best. I realized I learn best learning with others. One of the people that I got to spend the day with is Jesse McLean, and he is an administrator from Alberta. And he wrote in his blog the other day, see Jesse, I do read your blog, he wrote about think tanks. And he says that I am sure that in most divisions, people have groups of colleagues they share conversations with that change their practice in the direction of their schools. We all have the potential for our own think tanks, but are we doing whatever we can to have these think tanks assemble? And then he goes on to say that he uses social media a lot to come up with these groups of people to be in his think tank. And he proposes that regardless of whatever excuse we use to avoid these meetings from happening, we need to make them happen anyway. And so him and I and some other wonderful educators got together today, and we just talked about inquiry, and we talked about learning, and we talked about Genius Hour and grades, and if we should have them or not, and the future of education. And we spent the day touring these inquiry schools and classes, and we just talked about education. We were our own little think tank, like Jesse would say. And that's how I learn, surrounding myself with brilliant minds and having conversations with them. That is the best learning of all, in my opinion. I posted on Facebook earlier today that I was having such a great day and learning with all these wonderful minds, and I love surrounding myself with these kinds of people. And, immediately it got a bunch of likes on there, and I think a lot of people like to learn that way. And I agree with Jesse when he says, what are we doing then to make these think tanks happen? And no more excuses, and we have to find a way. We have to find a way. There are so many wonderful educators out there and with so many wonderful ideas and experiences to share, and we should be having meaningful conversations. We should be in these little think tanks talking about learning and talking about what school should look like. I think that is such wonderful learning. I'm so glad to be a part of this fellowship of Open Spokes because I think through the conversations that we're going to have here on the vlogs and on the comments underneath, I think these conversations are going to really push us to some meaningful learning, to some meaningful conversations. And I do hope that more people get involved because this is learning. This is a wonderful way to learn. And I know I learned so much just by listening to y'all and having conversations with all of you. Thank you for learning with me.